All right. Welcome everyone. Just before we start, if there is no issue from your side, I would prefer if everyone can turn on their camera. Just to give you a little bit of introduction, I would really like if we could keep this session a bit interactive so that it's not just me speaking. We are also interacting with each other, because I just feel that it's not just that I could teach or explain something. I also expect to learn something from each one of you as well. So that being said, let's start. As you all know that the topic for our session today is product management for dummies. Um, just to simplify it a little bit, the target here is to explain product management first to people who have no idea what product management is, to people who have heard about it but do not know exactly what it means, and people who have a fair amount of understanding what product management is but they still want to learn more. So just to start, um, I would also like to give a little bit of introduction of myself so that you guys have some amount of idea. So I am currently working as a senior product manager for a company which basically is a prop tech out of Canada called Cityscape Technology. And I have over 8 years of experience. I started my career from technical roles since I'm a computer science grad. So before moving to product management eventually. In my time, I have worked for e-commerce companies, food delivery, some other technical roles as well. I have experience working for subsidiaries of Delivery Hero, Alibaba, as well, and some very small scale startups. So I have basically tasted all the flavors, I would say. That being said, let's start and dive into the session. Okay, so starting, what exactly is product management? So, we can read the slides and we can understand what product management is in terms of textual form. You can find this all of this over the internet, Google. You can ask ChatGPT to create it as well. Uh, but what exactly I want to explain is from my experience, what I feel product management has been for me and what companies currently feel product management is. So think of it as a role where you are basically a CEO of a product. So basically, not just someone who has to manage could be a tool, could be a system, but also who has to nourish it. So in my experience, I feel that a product management manager is someone who not just builds product but also owns it, and also think about from where I have started and to where I have to take it. So that is very important. Product management also includes, the fact that depending upon from where you start, so it could be um, you are just a person who wants to solve a problem that you feel the market has, and you start building a product to solve that problem, or you feel that there is a growing need of something in the market and you feel you have the right expertise to build a product that would solve that. Then we also look into different aspects of it. So a product manager is actually someone who ties multiple teams. So there is a lot of stakeholder collaboration required. You are basically the bridge between a lot of other teams. You need to have a lot of good level of communication. You need to understand um, how to manage multiple things at a time. So that is also something that is required a lot during your time in product management. Um, since I started with the fact that you need to be sort of a CEO of a product, so you also need to be very responsible, and also should be brave enough to take some critical and difficult decisions as well. And so basically, there can be times where you have to step back and just look at something that you have done which is not working out. So you have to take a step back, think about what you have done and start thinking about what you can think differently, do differently this time, so that the product that you're working on can improve. So before moving ahead, I would just like to, since I have explained all of it, if anyone from the audience can, in their own definition, explain me what product management is, or if you have any example that you feel um, is a good example for explaining product management, if anyone can share. Yeah, please go ahead.
All right, so I think that it basically includes, like, as a product manager, that person is taking care of all aspects of a product, including tech, design. So the design team, tech team, all of them will be reporting to the product manager, and they need to make sure that there's like that all of these teams are in sync and there's synergy. एंड आपकी लाइक मार्केट रिसर्च से लेके आपका प्रोडक्ट के वायर फ्रेम्स एंड देन डिजाइन एंड देन एक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट, all of that is overseen by the product manager, I think.
Yeah, that is on point. That is a very good answer. If anyone can also, explain to me in a in sort of a daily life example that you feel could be, product management. So, not very specific, but you feel that, uh, something that we do day to day, but we realize that it's not that important, but it is actually, sort of similar with product management.
So I feel like you can conduct some research, identify like what are the users' needs, and set them manageable goals or realistic goals during your life.
Mhm. Yeah, that is also a very good answer. So yeah, let's move ahead. So understanding basically, the core purpose of product management in business. So we have seen, we have seen a lot of companies these days, could be large corporate organizations, could be small scale startups, and everyone is kind of introducing a product based role. Could be, they can market it in any term, but the core value of it, the core responsibilities basically are related to product, so managing a product. So why is it really important, and what exactly is the purpose of product management in business? So as we as the companies are working towards, filling a gap in the market, they have, picked something that they feel is going to make a lot of money or is going to solve a specific problem. They need someone to take care of the whole life cycle of how that tool or a system could fit in the large machine of their business. So the core purpose of product management in that perspective is to first provide something which is going to solve the basic problem. So in the product, we usually call it MVP, or minimal viable product. So let's say when you start, you need to build something that basically solves the problem from the scratch, and then moving ahead, you need to also, to stay competitive, innovate, think about long term. Product management is not something that you can do on a short term. It has to be, you need to build a proper roadmap. You need to, work on it from today for the future. So when you are working in a product based role, you have to think about where your product or your company would be 6 months from now or a year from now. So the product, so the roadmap that you are building needs to have features that you need to think long ahead in the in the future. And basically, even when we talk about, let's say, MVP, we have to think about what we aspire to be, and not just what we can do right now. So a very good example for this is that if I want to build a Tesla, for example, build a car, electric car, for example, I cannot just start from building, a car which does everything. My goal is to, let's say, solve the energy crisis. So my goal first would be to build a car that does not use petrol, for example, or any sort of gasoline fuel, fossil fuel. Um, but my aspiration should be that the car should be like Tesla. So at that point, I can't just build it because I need to, launch in the market. So my goal would be that I have to reach to the point. I should be dreaming of it, but I need to divide it in proper chunks so that I can build something quick, launch it in the market, see what the results are, and then, on the basis of that, improve, innovate once I have seen the interest. When it comes to the business, you also need to understand that your customers or whoever is your target audience basically drives your business. So you need to understand what they actually want. You need to keep talking to them, and you need to stay competitive and stay relevant, and that is the only way that you can keep growing as a business as well, and that is all that product helps you achieve. um, and again, as I mentioned, that when you have to build a roadmap, you have to think about aligning your features with the goals that the business has. So a very good technique for this is to, whenever you are, let's say, building a feature, tie it with a business goal that the company has mentioned. So let's say a company who the company that you're working for wants to monetize for this quarter. So your goal should be that you build all the feature that somehow collaborates towards that monetization. It helps you in prioritizing those features. It helps you in stay relevant, and it helps you also you know justify the resources that you are going to spend, the company's resources, to build those features. So that is very important as well.
Okay,
Uh,
Tala, so we have a question. So
mhm.
Basreen is asking, can a service also be considered a product?
Yes. So basically, if we go back a little bit, so the term product can be anything, for example, which you are offering. So yes, if you are offering a service, you can call it as a product as well. So for example, if you think about insurance market, the insurance market has different products, right? So basically, insurance companies do not give you a system for per se or an app to use, but the packages that they have of insurance, they call it product as well. Similarly goes for banking. Banking sector has the car that you can get on lease, a house that you can get on lease. So they market their services as a product as well. So if you go to a different bank that you want to have a car, you want to get a car on lease, they will have a specific name. So different banks would have specific names for their services, and they call it product. It does not have to be something actual in value, like previously we used to, or currently we have as well in pharmaceutical industries as well. Each and every drug or the medicine that they build, they also call it a product. So that is something that is physical. The product that we are talking currently in this session mostly has to be digital, but obviously it can be a service as well. So it totally depends upon how you market it. Yeah. So again, moving before moving ahead, if anyone wants to share either an example or something that they feel a product basically, that a product that helps business in a way that they feel, if anyone wants to share, just so that we can get ideas of what people are also uh, people have regarding the core purpose of product in a businesses.
Do any of the certifications count, like the PMP, the CPAM, and do any of those count as helpful?
I think you're on mute. Was that
Do
your
any of the PMP certifications and the CPAM, do they count?
count for exactly what?
Helping in product management, or those are just certifications?
Well, there are a lot of certifications currently in the market. There's CSPO. PMP is more directed towards project management. And yes, certification helps. Some large corporate organizations actually require that if you want to secure a role. And obviously, any of the certifications that you do, they teach you something, and they then assess that, as well. So obviously they help you learn something, and obviously, it's a certificate. Some companies actually value a lot them as well. One of the more famous one, I think, is CSPO when we talk about product owner or product manager. So yeah, eventually I would say that they count. All right, if no one has anything to share, we can move forward to the next slide. So again, this is a very good question. Why project management is on the rise suddenly? If I would think, when I graduated and I started working, product management was not that famous, I would say. And specifically in the country that I was working on, there were hardly any companies who had jobs for product managers. If we go back, product management started from IBM. And they basically introduced this concept of product managers. At that point, it was more hardware related. But if we talk about how product management started, the history of it, it's basically we can track back to IBM. And why is on the rise is because I think, as we are moving ahead, companies, people who are actually making companies, who are trying to build businesses, have started to understand the need for it, right? Because when you think about it, product manager is actually not building a tool. It's actually not they are actually not designing a feature. But what exactly are they doing? Can an engineer just do it themselves, or can a designer just design some screens, an engineer develops it, and the product is ready to use? Because the what exactly is the product manager doing? So for us to understand that, we need to understand that it all starts from an idea, and that idea and the work that a product manager puts in, so that it's easy for a designer to convert, let's say, text into design, and then a engineer to convert that those designs into an actual workable tool. uh, all of that is possible once you have, as a product manager, done all of your work, so that all that work is basically what puts you up for success. Because yeah, you can just build anything, you can launch it, but is anyone going to use it if you haven't done your research? If is anyone going to use it if you haven't thought about how the user experience would be? There are a lot of other things, like, for example, if anyone is going to use it, if you haven't done your research for if it's a market fit, if you haven't decided what your ideal customer profile is going to be. So that is all the work that product manager has to do. So as we move ahead, now the companies, the people in charge, senior managements, they understand all that works needs to be done, and for that they need product managers, so that the resources, the investment that they are doing is put to good use. Again, and it does not stop there. It actually, once you have launched a product, you also get more competition, because there's hardly any idea right now where where someone, some single organization or single company is, or some single product is a leader. You have a lot of competition. To stay relevant, to stay in business, you need to follow your customers. You need to meet their high expectations. You need to keep talking to them. You need to also constantly keep improving as well. And all of that is possible when there is a single person whose entire job is to think about it. If I have to simplify a product manager's job, I would say 50% of it consists of thinking about what to do, because that is what actually helps you in building something that the user do not have to think about, if you have done all the thinking on their behalf. So that is very important. And as we have seen that companies who have really strong product management have succeeded a lot. People who have spent a lot of time in building something, doing research on it, they end up making something that is loved by customers and actually used by them a lot. Yeah, again, before moving ahead, if anyone wants to share some specific facts that they feel is the reason why product management is on the rise, and uh, anything else. Yeah.
Product management, I think with AI and Chat GPT, I'm not much into tech, but I heard like because obviously we're in a new age, so product management is getting more automated and more sophisticated. So yeah, that's my thought on that.
Absolutely, that is very good point. As we are moving towards a time where you don't have to actually sit and think about generating content. We have a lot of tools. ChatGPT is just one of them. The core engine behind ChatGPT, GPT, is basically an open source content that anyone can use. Build their own chatbot, use it to generate content out of internet. Documentation is very easy. These tools are very smart. You can ask them a lot. You can get really good response. You can actually do role play with them. So obviously it's getting more and more complicated, and also competitive at the same time. All right. So yeah, this is very interesting. For that, I would like to just explain a little bit on how I start my day, and how it looks from the moment I wake up. So a very important thing for in the life of a product manager is to plan. Um, a very large chunk of your day basically goes into planning. So if you plan ahead, you can be really productive. So as a product manager, you need to be very good at planning. And it's not just that you need to plan for the product, for your squad, for your team. It starts with you. So every day you need to plan your day. And you need to open your schedule calendar, and think about what I'll do. Let's say if I'm starting at 9 a.m., what I'll do from 9 to 10. Have a stand up. I'll ask the statuses of the team, starting from what is in progress, what is going to get completed today, what are the blockers, what you can do to actually unblock the team. This is something I feel is very important as a product manager, because you have the insight, and you have the uh, clarity on a lot of things which engineers don't have. So it's basically your job as a product manager to unblock any engineer or any other resource that has some blockers. So you need to think about on talk about blockers, try to unblock your team, and also then move ahead about what you are going to do next. So you do stand up, then you take some time to actually have your own focus time, work on a PRD that you're working on. Then you can have sessions with your customers to understand their feedback. Then you need to spend time on data. Any feature that you launch, you need to first think about what it is going to impact. So for example, if I am planning to build a feature that is like for example is going to help my customers note down their tasks, for example. So I need to understand that how it's going to help the customers, and what it's going to impact on which specific metrics, for example, right? So whenever I'm planning a feature, I need to define specific success metrics. I need to define what exactly is my goal that I'm trying to achieve. So then you need to look into there can be a lot of dashboards that you have to set up. There are a lot of tools that actually help you in monitoring the data. Can be live data, can be different funnels that you have to create to understand what exactly is the journey, the user flow that the customer are using through your app. So you need to spend time on data. Then you need to spend some time on thinking about the future of the product, right? So spending time on just looking at either competition, other market leaders, and try to get what they are doing and what are some things that you can cherry pick from them. And start thinking about how are you going to replicate that. So all of that, as you have seen, that whatever I've just explained in a day involves a lot of thinking. Basically that is a very large part of your day as well. Then you need to be very open to communication. So you need to have a lot of collaboration with multiple cross-functional teams. You need to be explaining a lot of things to your different stakeholders. If you are foreseeing that there's a delay, you need to be on top of it. You need to explain to all the stakeholders why the delay happened and what are we going to do to resolve that. That is basically a day, how a day could look like. Again, moving ahead, let me just check some of the questions. Or actually, wait. Let's take the questions in the end. Once we have completed the session. Again, is there something that anyone feels is a very important aspect of a product management in in a day for a product manager that they want to share, or they want to ask, that they feel is something important which I haven't mentioned? All right. Yep. Let's move ahead. So again, since we started with the fact, that product managers are actually, someone who basically owns the product, is the CEO of the product, and has to think about a lot of, how they can impact the success. So, it's again a very critical role. They should have to start from the fact that the problem that they're trying to resolve is actually worth resolving. It's actually going to help a lot of customers. It's actually is something relevant that needs to be solved. So they first need to define their market. They need to define their ideal customer profile. They need to define how many phases they are going to do the product in, what is something that they will be launching on as a minimal viable product. and how they are going to move ahead, and what are some of the metrics that they are going to monitor while doing all of it. And while you are thinking about all of it, how to do that, you need to also ensure that uh, some things that you have to do to just satisfy the customers. So during my time, I have worked on some of the features which did not help the company in terms of monetization, did not help the company in any sort of growth, but they were just built to make customer happy. Actually, we also use a term which is customer love, which we actually use as a metric, and these are basically some of the feature which are just made built to make customers feel good. So it could be something very funny, very funky, or it could be something that is just for customers satisfaction. That is something that you have to do at some point to make the customer fall in love with your app. And once they do, they become the daily user of your app. Then they will start using your app for other things, which indirectly would bring in you money. As a product manager, you are in charge of all of it. You need to think about all of that. Once you have launched, you may start getting a lot of traction, and you feel that your product is a success, but it does not stay like that. We are in a phase, economically and technologically as well, where things evolve really quickly. So something that you have done right now may not be relevant for 3 months. So you need to keep evolving. You need to keep thinking about how to, make it better. You need to also understand how your market, the basic market that your product is working on. So, for example, if I think about, real estate industry, the company that I'm working for, mainly is from Canada, and currently the market conditions for real estate in Canada are not good. So the mortgages are very high, the rent is very high. So as a product manager, is my responsibility to think about how can my product that is in that market would help customers in making better decision, to um, and help them in these market conditions, to buy a house or a lease or get a house on mortgage. So that is very important as well. So this all of this basically has a huge impact a huge impact on the product success as a product manager. All right. So yeah, before moving to the final slide, I just want to take some time and also, explain something about, since you are all either people who are trying to get into product management or are very early in your career. So there are some myths about product managers, starting from the fact that people think that it's a technical role. It can be, but it does not have to be, depending upon the company that you're working on. So, for example, as I've mentioned, that I've worked for e-commerce companies, food delivery companies. The roles that I had in these companies were not technical, and my technical background did help me in some ways. But it was not essential. So again, I have seen some really good product managers with non-technical backgrounds. They were coming from either customer service, they were either coming from marketing, they were either coming from economics, and they were really good product managers. And at the same time, I've seen some very technical people really struggle, in understanding the basic gist of product management. So I feel that the very important thing to succeed in product management is actually to build a product sense. What is product sense? So product sense is basically something that, as a product manager, that helps you think about a lot of scenarios when you are trying to build a feature or build a product. and at the same time you also need to understand, how it's going to be built, the feasibility of it. Is it something that actually can be built, or is it something that actually is worth building? So once you start working on, once you start learning about it, you start building that product sense, which is, I feel, is more important than achieving going for a specific degree that teaches you project management, product management, or specific majors that you can take to learn about product management. That being said, I still feel that there are some really good content books that have been written for product management, and they are really good. And I feel that these should be read as a sort of a starter. So starting from the first book, and this is one of my favorites, and I would say that if you have interest in product management, even if you don't want to be a product management, just read the first book, which is Inspired by Mark P. Kagan. In this book, would you would read a lot about what product management is, not just from a product manager's perspective, but from a very holistic perspective. So, how does management fit into a company? What exactly it has to do, in the success of the company? All of that. It helps you understanding, um, uh, um, uh, the hierarchy of the organization. It helps you in being empathetic as well for customers, putting yourself in their shoes, which always helps. So this is a really good book for that purpose. Again, the second book is the product book by Josh Allen and Carlos Gonzalez, and this mostly focus on your life after securing a job as a product manager. So basically, things you should do to succeed in that role. And the next one is Sprint, which is basically, as the name suggests, it helps you understand how as a product manager you should uh, you know conduct your sprint, what you should do, the what are the sprint ceremonies, things which you will, if you have done CSP or if you are planning to doing that, you will read that as well. And making the most out of each day in your sprint, what you have to do for in the input to sprint planning meeting, what you have to do in stand-ups every day, what you how you basically should prioritize the features, the product, your roadmap as well. So that discuss that in very detail. um, Hooked is a very good book. It basically focuses on the idea to build products that customer fall in love with, products that actually help you in some specific problems that you have in your day life and daily life, and some things that you basically a product that you can't live without. So that basically discusses this is more in more detail. Then we have a small booklet which is by Product School Product Mindset. It contains interviews from product managers, successful people who have done product management in a lot of good companies, their experience, some case studies as well. So this is also a very good short book that you can do. Then finally, Well Designed is a book that goes into uh, design patterns, behaviors that customers have, because when you are a product manager, you also need to think about user experience a lot. So this book basically opens up a lot about how you can build a very good user experience, what are some techniques that you can use to design good products, and basically to help you in achieving your exact goal. So I would say that please also read these books. If you are currently not working, I think it shouldn't take you a month to complete all of these. Even if you are working, I would say take some time off. If you have built a habit of reading, it would help you build that product sense. It would help you in when you are writing user stories, when you are writing your product requirement documents. It helps you, and it basically builds your mental model that would help you in writing a story. Because whenever I feel that the documents a product manager writes should not feel like a work document. They should feel like a storybook. So you need to be a very good storyteller to inspire the people that are working with you. And if you are a good storyteller, that would reflect in the product that you're working on. All right, let's move towards chat and see some questions. Can a service also be considered a product? We have already answered that. Which platform is best to get product management jobs internationally other than LinkedIn? And if LinkedIn, then company should I target, considering I live in Pakistan? So yeah, I think LinkedIn is, I would say, is the OG. You should be really active on that. There are a few things that you have to think about. You need to build your profile relevant. You need to first target what you are looking for, what type of job you are looking for, what type of industry you are looking for. Reflect that in your summary. Think a lot about the title that you have put in, and there are a lot of other websites as well that you can look for. There's Indeed, there is I think monster.com, I think. So there are a lot of others that you can just Google, and you will be able to find a lot of other platforms as well. And yeah, you can also find jobs in Pakistan for on these platforms as well. One very good way is to actually connect with relevant people. So let's say that if you are looking for a product management job, target the companies that you are looking for and connect with people that are working in that company, and try to see if they are posting any jobs, if they can help you, secure an interview. So that is very important. What is the difference between product manager and product owner? This is a very good question, and you would get asked that a lot in some interviews as well. So there is a very fine line between these. Companies usually do not differentiate, not because there's no difference, but because it's a luxury. So you can be a product manager and do the work of a product owner, um, and it goes vice versa as well, depending upon the companies. But if you have to think about basic difference, a product manager's job is more um, holistic and long term. So the product manager has to think about a lot of things: market fit, go to market strategy, how the product would look in 2 to 3 years. They have to do a lot of research, talk to customer, getting feedback, all of that. Product owner is more towards execution. So working with your scrum team, getting things done, following sprint ceremonies, all of that is more towards a role of product owner. And if you want to learn more, there is a very good video of Atlassian on YouTube. Search the difference between product manager and owner, and you'll be able to find that. I think that is again same question. For someone new, how can they learn about roadmap making? I think the books that I have mentioned, if you go through them, you would be able to understand a lot of it. So these are very good source material. Also, as a product manager, from my understanding, user review is super important. How can we connect and arrange more user feedback sessions? Yeah. So again, yes, this is very important because if you do not know your user, if you don't know who is going to use your product, building it for someone that you don't know doesn't make sense, right? So, for example, let's say if I'm a chef and I am cooking for people who cannot tolerate spice, right? So it wouldn't make sense for me to make a spicy food, right? Because if I would make that, they won't be able to eat it. So for me to be able to make something that my audience would use, I need to understand what type of food they like. So it goes simply in that way. How can we connect and arrange more user feedback sessions? So this depends upon the culture of your company. and also the product that you are using. So for B2C, business to customer, so for example front end products, it can be difficult because let's say if you are managing an e-commerce website or e-commerce app, you might have a lot of customers. So for you to drill down to people who would like to speak to you, you would need to work with your customer relation team, um, try to find out a few people who are more engaging, who have placed a lot of orders on your app, and try to connect with them, try to give them some incentive, because previously when I was working for a food delivery company, what we used to do was we used to filter people who have, let's say, placed more than 5 orders in a week. Then we would reach out to them, we will offer them a discount voucher, and we just get them on a call and try to understand their feedback, and on the basis of that, then we'll plan our product. So that is something very useful. uh, how to measure customer love. So yeah, I think this is something a bit tricky. What you can do is a basic metric for measuring is NPS, net promoter score, basically. So net promoter score is a metric that basically gives you an idea of how much your product is liked, right? So it can be measured through feedbacks, through survey forms. There are a lot of ways to do that. And not your specific net promoter score basically tells you, if the higher it is, the better your product is being loved by your customers. Yes, can these books? So these books are available online. You can search for them. They are available to buy on Amazon as well. You might be able to find some PDF as well. So they are easily available. So if you just search the name, you would be able to find them. How to get a product manager job and how many experiences required. So again, I think I have touched a little bit on that topic. I don't think that you need to be a specific profile or a specific major in terms of your degree. But I think if you are really interested, I would say connect with people who are relevant, connect with recruiters who are headhunting product managers. Experience is again relevant to the job. When I started, I did not have any product management experience, and I was just able to give a really good interview, and I was able to secure a job. And since then, when you target multiple jobs, then depending upon the experience that is required for the job, you basically evolve. So I think this is really relevant. One thing I would like to share on this point is that if you don't have any experience, try to target associate product manager's job or jobs that um, are under multiple hierarchies. So for example, companies which starts you on an APM level and then help you grow, so that you are working with a product manager, a senior product manager, a product director, so that they can help you in growing as well. I would like to learn product management for my student. I myself am a marketer profession and is not using, can you recommend some tools that can be. So I'm not sure exactly what you are building, Kashif, but I think what you can do is try to search for tools which are no code or low code, which basically help you building apps and some sophisticated products as well, with just a few drag and drop, and you don't need to actually learn a lot of programming language to build products using those no code and low code softwares. There are a lot available in the market. You can just Google them and you'll be able to find something. Yes, so these are all the questions. So I hope that this session was really helpful for you guys. I have tried to uh, share my experience as much as I can, what I have learned in past 8 years, and try to help within within the topic that we had today. Again, I think we will take some time to just open the floor for any other questions that you might have. Just speak up, and I'll try to answer them as much as I can.
I have a question. What type of certification? What are the acronyms for certifications that can help me start my career as a product manager? Should I choose to go down that path?
Again, so I think it depends a lot on it's kind of subjective, right? If I would first suggest that you target or make a list of companies or specific products that you want to work for, and see what type of people that they are looking for. So let's say if you want to get hired in Google, try to follow the product managers that have worked on Google or are working in Google. Try to search for jobs that Google is posting and try to understand what are the requirements. And if you are really focused on working for one or two specific companies, then maybe yes, if they are requiring for specific certifications, maybe go for them. But I feel uh, to start your career and to break into product management, you don't need any specific certifications. uh, Content is good. Yes, you get a title, CSPO for example, and it helps, yes. But I don't think that it is required for any job that you might get into, that might get you into product management.
All right, thank you.
How can we build more efficient relation with designers working on design? So I think that depends upon a lot on the profile, and it goes for any person that is working within your team. Could be a designer, could be an engineer. You, I feel, as a product manager, need to be very patient, because you are hearing from a lot of sides. Designers are talking to you, engineers are talking to you, senior stakeholders are talking to you. There are a lot of people who has a lot of things to share. You need to first build a relationship on a personal level. So try to understand what kind of person they are, so that it's easier for you to manage them. And specifically for designers, I feel designers um, are usually very creative, and they have a lot of ideas to share. So I feel as a product manager, first you need to be able to you need to be good, you need to be a very good listener, regardless of who you're talking to. And for designers, that you have to go one step ahead, because they have a lot of things to share. You need to feel them, make them feel empowered, because I feel um, if you're working with a product designer, it is actually their job to not just do the UI but also the UX as well. So make them feel important, make them feel responsible for not just UI but UX as well. Uh, and also try to understand, what exactly do they need from you. There are times where, as a product manager, we are not giving enough information to the designers and we expect them to build perfect designs. So try to talk to them, try to understand what do they need. Do they need wireframes? Do they need just a proper PRD? Do they need to have a background? Do they need to have customer profiles to build a good design? So try to understand from their perspective as well what they need, and I'm pretty sure that you would be able to work it out. Um, I think I'm not sure exactly about these companies, but I think referral is something that you can get from an internal employee. So let's say that if you know someone in these companies, maybe try to talk to them and try to see if they can refer you. And again, as I've mentioned previously, that you need to do a lot of networking to secure a job. So maybe if you are targeting these companies, try to follow people from these companies, try to understand what do they need, and if you have a right profile, maybe ask if they can refer you. All right. Yep. Good luck. So if we do not have any questions, I think we can end. I think we.
I think, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Hadi. It was a great session,
Likewise.
and hope it was useful for the participants as well. And
Yeah.
with that being said, yeah, let's close off the session. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks everyone.
Okay.
Have a good day.